Hey there, you, me, and DC fans, and welcome if you're new. I am the Stepson of Krypton,
Nine Mantis.
and today we are bringing you Justice League Unlimited issue number 15. Mantis, are you ready to go to hell?
Let's go in the handbasket.
All right. Not gonna waste any time. Let's just go straight to hell. All right, guys. So just to kind of set the stage here, we know we started with the Terrific 10 going down to hell to confront Neuron to figure out why he is overcharging the villains, and he is they are preventing the evacuation of the rest of Earth as it slowly turns. I say slowly, it's actually pretty fucking quick now, turning into apocalypse, right? So this issue kind of opens up. We're in Rome, where we see a fellow Green Lantern trying to assist with the evacuation. And I think it's kind of interesting that it's good old Joe Mullen that, if you have been following along with the Absolute Green Lantern series, she is the main Green Lantern thus far. She's actually really the only Green Lantern thus far in there. And also, if you remember from our last issue, if you haven't watched it yet, it will be linked down below. I'm getting better about that. I say that I've done like two. That last issue, the power was being drained from the Watchtower, and that was what was providing power to all of the boom tubes, teleporters, and everything else that is helping in the evacuation. And clearly, even Joe and the rest of the lanterns there are feeling that effect. So we see Beetle, and this portal is showing up in front of him, right? And he's kind of trying to hang on there for dear life. And it would seem that this is what is kind of sucking away the station's power. And suddenly we see a green hand come through. And I think we all know who this is.
That little shit.
Apparently, whatever he was doing to try and get back to this current time was draining power all over the station, which was then affecting everything going on with the rescue or evacuation efforts. I mean, just leave it to him to just fuck things up, because that's all he's been doing this entire series. And then we kind of get a little bit of backstory about where Airwave has been the last several issues. At least for me, not that we've been missing him. So, of course, we learn he has been with the Legends on the Wave Rider, fighting Shadowlass to free the Vanishing Point. Now, for my Arrowverse fans, you remember the Vanishing Point showing up with the Time Bureau, the DC version of the TVA, and all that good stuff. So apparently he's been there doing God knows what. But in trying to come back to the 21st century, there has been this temporal barrier preventing him from returning to the current time. However, that little shit he managed to make it through. I think the barrier was just there to keep him out solely, because we all don't like him, or at least I don't. I'm sorry, you may like him. I don't like him.
And at this point, I don't know how even the Watchtower or any of them can trust him. You know what I mean? Like, I know he's kind of had this redemption arc, but still, I don't know, man. I don't know.
The problem with redemption arcs in comics is it's like a page and a half. I'm like, so I didn't really feel the arc, right? It was just like this, straight. Like, there's no arc in that. So I don't really trust him, and he's still fucking things up. We kind of get to the point now that he's not actually ruining things like usual. They're able to kind of get things back up and running. And obviously, if you remember, we have our contingent there from Costa Rica with Kadios and his little group there. It's time for them to actually go help and see what they can do. Probably not a whole lot, given the fact that Earth's turning into apocalypse.
Yeah.
So, of course, where do we go from here? We go to Oklahoma City, a little small town outside Oklahoma City. If you remember, where Kid Flash and team are battling Slipknot and his team. We got some Disturbed in there. And
they had found, that's the one they had found, that little haven, we'll call it, that wasn't like, it was like I said, it reminded me of
WandaVision.
WandaVision, yes. It was like WandaVision, where it was like this little encapsulated town where hell on Earth is everywhere else looks like apocalypse, except for this little town who's nice. And we find out, they're all fucking selling their souls to Neuron.
Yes. And that is their hope with this team here, with Kid Flash team, is to get their souls in order to kind of pay back. Neuron did a loan with them with a high interest rate of so many souls, and they gotta pay it back. Otherwise, there's going to be penalties. Right. So right? I mean, it's just, I mean, you can charge whatever you want to at the end of the world, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we see the team kind of come there for backup, right? So they finally get a little bit of help. Maybe might turn the tide of battle, like because we see obviously KDO's he's got the chains and he's wrapping some people up here. We got Frog Guy delivering some kind of shit lines, although he does kick that bitch right in the
In the
face.
face.
I
Yeah.
mean, straight in the face, dual leg, just I mean,
Yeah.
drop kicks her, So all right, fine, he did a shit line, but it works. And then as they're kind of doing, they're going through the little fight. We see Airwave, and he does a little bit to kind of help out. But I think the important thing here is, Kid Flash is going off and racing to the green jug that just apparently that's you can order off Amazon that holds people's souls,
Mhm.
right? That's the thing that's gonna, that's what they've all been doing is just giving their souls and just storing them in this fucking vase looking thing. It's okay. Give the good people of this small town back their souls. I don't know what they're gonna do about everything being green, but they're gonna get
Yeah.
back their souls. However, just as he's about to, we see the head of Neron kind of pop out of the jug there, and he's got like almost like a Lobo meets Joker look about him,
It does. Yeah.
right? And he explains the deal he made with their enemies there, how they're gathering souls of the people of that town. In exchange, they're going to get protection from the destruction of Earth. And I kind of feel like he's lying about that. Could be wrong.
You never can deal
But
with the devil.
well, I mean, technically, yeah, he is the devil, but Darkseid's kind of higher than the devil at this point, right? So he's
That-
going to be bowing down to Darkseid. But he kind of points out this other thing too, and it does make a lot of sense, right? Like if you did smash the jars and get people back their souls, like to what end? Because the world is getting destroyed as they speak, and even with the Justice League, their plan is to basically the world will be destroyed and they're just going to rebuild everything. They're going to rebuild the universe back once they beat Darkseid after they've gotten the Omega energy. So you're really going to bring
And
these people back for just this brief period of time to have get wiped out.
Yeah, what's the point? Like, if everything is going to be remade, depending on, again, we are assuming that someone from the good guys is going to win the tournament. If that happens, all of this does not matter.
Yeah,
All of this doesn't matter.
and we know a good guy's going to win, right? Now it'd be kind of cool if they did in the comics where they're like, oh nope, it just ended and we have 2 months. There's no comic. It's just like acts like it's blacked out, and then there's this little spark of something that reignites the universe. Don't know. We know it's not going to happen though.
Yeah.
So now that we've gone through all of that, it is time to go to the Siberian tundra. Oh, even though I thought we were supposed to be in hell, why is it snowing? Apparently, this isn't the Siberian tundra. It is hell. It's just snowing. Why? Okay. And we look at our good old terrific 10, and we're down to kind of the sad 6, right? We still have good old depressed Superman Blue. So I guess it's not just a funny name anymore. I mean, he's blue. Like he lost his hope. He had to give it away.
Yeah.
We got Goldhawk. We got Terrific, obviously. We got Batman Beyond. We got female Dr. Fate and fucking Owl Woman. Why do we still have Owl Woman?
I know.
And apparently we have reached that icy level in the video game, right? As we're getting
Everyone
closer
hates.
to Neron. This is that level, right? You're just immediately taking damage as soon as you go into it. And we kind of get a little bit of a monologue from good old Bats, like about him being scared. And like, no shit. Like that's all we've heard about since you've been down in hell is how scared you are. And I get it. I'm not saying I would be any better down in hell, right? That I'd just be this badass either. We know that's not true. But it's okay.
Like, shut the fuck up.
We get it.
Like, yeah.
And he's like, talking about how, like, and this is, I kind of paraphrasing my own words about him kind of feeling like an imposter standing next to Superman and Wonder Woman. I'm like, you should. They're not feeling this kind of fear. At least they're not vocalizing it. Like, you're supposed to be Batman, right? Maybe
what I thought,
be Batman.
What's funny, though, is he brings up a good point, not in the context of this comic or anything else, but like we always talk about this. It's like, you have a demigod. Well, I don't know if you consider Superman a demigod, but on Earth he practically is. He's the strongest, right? Like we always talk about, like, what the fuck is Batman gonna do when they fight Darkseid? Because we saw this in a Justice League movie, right? Like, you have aliens and all these super powerful enemies. Like, what the fuck are you gonna do? And that's what he's saying here. He's just like, I feel like I'm worthless next to Superman and Wonder Woman.
However, those thoughts are kind of cut short as this massive evil beaver pops up. And I'm sorry, that's just what he looks like. Because it looks like the back end, he's got that kind of beaverish looking tail. It's an evil beaver. And I think we all been there before.
Mm-hmm. The beaver's got teeth. You just steer clear of that.
Whew, that's rough times. However, though, because Superman Blue is feeling the blues, I had to throw that in there. Sorry, I deal with it. He decides it is his time to hit the good old delete button, right? Because we know as we've gone through every one of these levels that somebody gets taken out, right? So, boom, he flies straight into the fucking beaver's mouth, explodes, and now we're down to the fucked up 5, right? That's all we got left.
Like the monikers.
Right? It's just, so somehow then we're standing at the edge of this massive sea of blackness, right? Could be oil, could be water. We don't know. It kind of reminds me on if you ever watched Immortals with Henry Cavill, like there is that sea of black, and it basically is like oil and tar and shit like that. We're gonna say it's kind of like that, right? And of course, good old Goldhawk there, he's like, I'll just go fly ahead and kind of see and make sure, everything's, the coast is clear and there's no surprises, right? And of course, he goes out and somebody's calling for help and they're reaching out of the oily, tarish looking water. And like a fucking moron, he's like, sure, I'll help you. You're in hell.
Like, who does he think that is? Like,
just some trapped soul. Like, oh, sure. Like, yeah, you were innocent. You weren't meant to be here. Like,
who gives a shit?
Okay. And I think we all knew this was going to happen, right? Because clearly he gets pulled down into the darkness. Well, and it doesn't last too long because now we see him up in the air there. However, he is kind of taken over by whatever demonish creature thing that came out of that water. And we see good old female Fate there trying to kind of ward off his attacks. Double meeting there. If you've played Skyrim, you put up your wards, right? So it worked out, which actually I think is kind of like the parallel. Regardless, it doesn't matter. And obviously, in a kind of like exhausted state there, the spell's not holding up too well. So it breaks. And here we go. Fucking killed by Timmy. Takes the brunt of it, right? So he gets killed instead of maybe harming Dr. Fate. And now we're down to 3, right? He's laying there crying in Terrific's arms. I say crying, I'm just joking. But he's bleeding out in Terrific's arms. And he, calls him Tim. Now, I will say this real quick, guys. If you've been paying attention when I said, a lot of times I always call him Batman Beyond, or I'll say Terry or whatever, just because, you're always used to thinking about Batman Beyond being Terry McGinnis. However, there is the iterations of Tim Drake obviously becoming Batman Beyond as well. And this is that case. So if I've ever in this series misspoke and called him Terry, like that's why. Natural, or saying, were you at Terry's? Doing that kind of stuff and cutting those in. Sometimes, say that. But yes, this is Tim Drake. Correction, this was Tim Drake, as he did. All right, and finally we get to the 7th circle of hell. Or it would seem, right? And we got Fate. We have Owl. Why do we still have Owl Woman? But they get swarmed by a herd of creatures, and I'm thinking, finally, we got rid of fucking Owl Woman. She's been taken out. But Mr. Terrific is the last one left standing. And of course, he's kind of walking down the hallway. It looks like he's getting ready to go out to the big game or whatever, right? Except he's just, he's getting the demons kind of just like egging him on, like, here waits. Like, okay, I get it. 18 of you just said enter. I got it. Where do you think I'm going? Calm down. Like, what the fuck? So he is heading towards the boss battle. And then we finally get to see him. Neron is there. But he's kind of curious about why they traveled so far. Like, what was the point of this? Like, what could be worth going through all of that? And of course, it is to stop him ramping up the bad guys. But again, not just for all the souls that they had been stealing, like out of that small town. Because, it was a couple hundred people. They got their souls. But for every minute they're distracting the other leaguers and they're having to send other people down to kind of stop these bad guys, they're slowing down the evacuation between them and that little shit airwave. They're slowing down the evacuation, which is causing tens of thousands of people to be killed. If they're going to bring everybody back, what does it fucking matter? However, what could Mr. Terrific have to bargain with? Well, how about himself?
The sacrifice, right? I mean,
Yes.
was this his plan the whole time?
I guess, man. Or you just get desperate when he saw everybody else died. He's like, I got to throw down the old pink slip to the soul. Here you go. Like, that's it.
When he knew
You just watch
demons-
the other 6 get killed. You're like, or 9, I guess that's when you started out,
Yeah, was it his plan? Because, like, again, he's emotionless, right? He doesn't even realistically. Him saying that to Tim was kind of odd because at the very beginning of this, he knows that they're all remnants.
Expendable.
Yeah, they're expendable. As we know, Michael Holt has no emotions. And so him to do that kind of there at the end with Tim was kind of weird. But also it makes sense that he just brought them along as cannon fodder. And this was his whole plan all along, was to make a deal.
Yeah, right. And that's where I think it is. Like, this was he's going to get here. He's going to offer this deal and then maybe do something noble. Like, he's like, all right, I made this deal with you, but then I'm going to off myself. And then I don't have to live up to the deal. Fuck you.
Right.
Yeah. But it kind of looks like, he's saying, I'll be your inside man. I'll be that secret agent. Are you ready to do this trade? You got to make that deal with the devil, right? Like, what about 7/8 of your soul? And however, there's one caveat. The position has been filled.
The position has been filled.
Can I contact the Herculoids? The position has been filled.
Can I call the Herculoids for a reference? The position has been filled.
As we see Owl Woman kind of hit him with a blast, and it looks like it's kind of fucking him up. Like, it's burning his flesh. I mean, it looked like it did some damage.
Well, and it seems that through that deal that Owlwoman had already previously made, she's getting some of the powers as well. Like, she got a little boost from Neron.
Yeah, like, what a bitch, right? Mm-hmm. To go through, although that's why she didn't, because we damn well know she would have been the first one gone had she not been an evil plant. Now we kind of understand why. Now it makes more sense. However, we will have to wait to the next issue to find out what happens. And it's a very positive one. It's abandon all hope.
Sounds great.
We're in a good spot here, guys. We just got basically Mr. Terrific now and Owl Woman, which she's evil. So we got Mr. Terrific left of the Terrific 10, and we're going to abandon all hope because we're in hell and we're getting fucked up. So what else could there be? And that is where this issue ends. Sorry, Mantis, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying, I mean, like you said, there's no one left. Owlwoman's there. He's at the mercy of Neron at this point. The only thing that kind of is interesting, remember, Airwave can transverse places with his abilities. And there is currently, as we saw when Mr. Terrific walked into the boss lair, Neron was talking through that globe in the vase, right? Like, there is that pathway. So I'm guessing, or hopefully in this next issue, again, that little shit is going to find a way to make it back through hell through that connection portal that was talking to them through.
And I know, kind of like Mantis has said in the beginning about his redemption arc, I know that's probably what's going to end up happening to kind of reinforce his redemption arc, right? This whole thing's about him kind of making up more. I just don't want to see him come back and they're like, Mr. Terrific, why couldn't you sacrifice Owl Woman and him? Right? Like, those are my first two choices. Let's just get rid of Airwave and Owl Woman here. But I don't know. It's nice to see this series pick up a little bit, and I'll say be a little more focused, because throughout the first maybe 10 issues of Justice League Unlimited, it kind of been all over the place. We had so many things going on and we were bouncing back and forth every other page. Now, like, these last 2 issues, we've really just kind of been down in hell and like Oklahoma, so it's kind of like, which, I mean, for some people that might be the same thing. I don't know. I don't live there.
Some people. No, I mean, one good thing and one bad thing about this issue, one good thing is we finally got to see Neron and get a little dialogue with him and kind of what he's doing. The thing I didn't like about it, and we were talking about this before we started the video, is we lose 3 members of this group within like 2 or 3 pages. it just seemed like they were like, okay, we got to wrap this up when they were writing it. We got to wrap this up. And so they just wrote in that them dying just randomly there at the end. Just, I'm like, I don't know. It just seemed kind of bad payoff, in my opinion. But, you know, good thing and a bad thing there.
The big evil beaver shows up and Superman's like, I guess that's my guy. And it just flies in there like, knew this is it, right? Yeah, it did, you know, for these being still like, you know, kind of ultra powerful versions. Superman Blue is very, very powerful. Goldhawk's very, very powerful. It's like, nope, we're gonna die really easily right here. It's just like, we got to write them off real quick. 2 lines of dialogue, boom, each get half a page, you're done. And it was kind of to get here, right? And then to find out like Owl Woman survived and is behind, you know, some of this. I'm just like, God damn it. But we will have to wait and see what happens in issue number 16 as the KO event is. We're getting closer. It may not feel like it right now, but we are getting closer and closer to the end of the KO event because, again, we have 4 KO event issues, including this one that released this week. I think we got another 2 or 3 next week. And then by the end of February, I think we're reaching the climax kind of of it. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. I think we get one more Justice League Unlimited issue tied into the KO event.
Yeah.
All right, guys. If you have made it with us this far, I apologize. It's a little bit longer of an issue. I'll be able to cut some of this stuff out here because you don't want to see what I've had to cut out and had to leave. That's why we don't have Patreon. Don't worry about that. But if you have made it with us this far, you might as well go ahead and give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, having the little bell notifications clicked, and fucking everything else YouTube makes you do. But that way you get alerted when we release new videos as well. Mantis was kind enough for me, because he knows damn well I'm not going to end up doing it, to put all of the KO event as well as everything in the Absolute Universe in their own separate playlist that you can go and watch the entire thing. And if that's all you care about, go watch it. And then let us know what you think about it, right? Comment down below. Like, you can give your opinions and they don't have to always be shitty. You can be nice about it, but you do you. We don't judge around here. Mantis, anything else before we wrap up?
Nope.
All right. Then, to keep this under the average TV sitcom length, that is going to do it for us on this episode of You, Me, and DC. Until next time, guys, we'll see you then.
Later.
Oh, man.